Hello and welcome to Cream Puff Plays Minecraft. I'm back in this creative world, still playing with 1.2, and you can see off in the distance some things I'm going to show you. The idea around this video is I wanted to, after showing off what 1.2 has to offer, I'll put my render distance down a little bit because it's a bit laggy. After showing you what 1.12 has to offer, and having a look at these terracotta blocks, me and K-Bug started to think, well, how can we use them? How can we use them in an interesting way? What are some interesting ways we can do this? Because there is a lot of hate out for, you know, Minecraft 1.2. There's a lot of hate around, not so much the concrete blocks, but more around the terracotta blocks. And we wanted to play around with some ideas of what we could do with them. So, without further ado, let's begin. The first idea we had was some different kind of path ideas. So this path is a mixture of the grey concrete powder, the grey wool, and the grey cyan hardened clay. We did try grey concrete here as well. It didn't quite look right. So if I grab some grey concrete, where are you? Grey concrete. Let's have a look. Boop, boop. See, it's very dark in contrast to everything else. So it was just a little bit too dark. It goes even darker than the darkest tones in the wool, I think. Yeah, so it's even darker than that. So we decided that we'd keep it just to the hardened clay, which had that, the cyan hardened clay, which had that nice blue tinge to it, the grey concrete powder and the grey wool. It's a nice little path, probably for some kind of a modern path, I reckon. Yeah. And then we'll jump over to here. So this is a bit of a road that we had using the black concrete powder, black wool, and the white concrete to create the lines down the middle. So you could scale this up or down depending on how you like. We did originally had it at 3 blocks wide, but yeah, these look too big. And I also added this little thing. So black concrete right here looks a little bit like skid marks, I guess, if you wanted to add just that little bit of extra detail. And then we have the, this is just kind of a regular kind of path that you might do, medieval, well-trodden kind of path vibe. It's a mixture of coarse dirt, the brown concrete powder, and the brown wool. And I think we even had it built in a little bit more here, but we've used dirt, so it's just kind of grown into grass. But this brown concrete powder is really, it's a nice color for kind of a sandy dirt, or maybe even a clayey dirt, I think. And it kind of works well. There's a nice bit of variation here. It's a nice path to walk along. And then finally we have this, which was a bit of an idea I had after seeing the brown powder. It was an idea that I've had for a while, but now the brown powder actually, I think, makes it possible. So this is a path of coarse dirt, and I had to make it coarse dirt, otherwise it was going to turn into grass. And then the brown powder kind of looks like it's been trodden down by the wheels of this strange little wagon that I built. So if it's a path that a wagon goes along a lot, so you could develop this little thing, so all of the dirt's been trodden down by the wheels of the, what's it called? Of this wagon. So I made this little weird covered wagon, which I actually quite like. I think if this road was 7 wide and this wagon could be kind of 5 wide, I reckon it would look really good. It's made me start to think. Except the lead doesn't stay on the horse. Don't know why. So these are some of the road ideas that we had. Just, you know, to give you a little bit of inspiration about how you can use some of these new blocks. And next, let's go down and have a look at this grass block. So this is a bit of an idea that I actually got from the Minecraft subreddit, which I noticed. And this is a new version of the kind of mown grass look. So we are using the green concrete powder in the middle to represent the different shades of grass. It's really, really nice. So we used to do this with, I think, green clay, like green hardened clay. Whenever you wanted to do that, you'd kind of, you could use that, or you could use wool as well. So the green wool, which actually might look quite good now, thanks to the, looks a little bit different, but you know, you would use that to get your kind of mowed grass texture. But thanks to the fact that the this is kind of a slightly more, it's a lighter, similar texture to the grass, very similar texture to the grass. This makes for a very nice little mown grass look for any of your modern builds. In addition to that, K-Bug's made some walls along here. So this is just some grey concrete with a hedge on top. Then we've got the light grey concrete to make this nice little wall, which I really like. That's a nice look right there. And then these brown concrete with the fences in between. So kind of, if you imagine these were made out of brown concrete. So again, more for your modern builds. But let's make a start on some of these marvelous things. So what we have here first is a little bit of kind of a pool, or it might be a bit of a well in the middle. Not a well, but, you know, so a kind of fountainish, pooly well in the middle of a town with white sand around the outside, bit of quartz stairs going on, and then the terracotta blocks in the center here. Really like how these terracotta blocks look in the middle. And there's a nice kind of bit of repetition, I guess. The yellow in the block and the yellow of the archway. Really like that. So K-Bug built this while I was off gallivanting around. I don't know. But I really like the use of the little block in the background here. Kind of looks like a bit of a dove or a bird statue. Statue? You know, a bird tile. Really nice. Again, what I found is that a lot of these terracotta blocks really suit a more Moroccan feel, and this definitely keeps in that, but it wouldn't look too bad in a Roman look or an old Greek, something like that. So this is a bit of a replica of a tower that K-Bug has built. So we immediately after searching, or after looking at this, we started looking at kind of mosques and that kind of thing. So if you imagine a tower that stretches all the way down through the ground there, and this is kind of the top of the tower. So you have this pattern that goes along, and then it's repeated up here, and then finally repeated on the blocks on top. If we have a look at it from a distance, it actually looks really, really nice. And even if we go back a little bit further, that detail really shines. So it's a really cool way to bring in those tiles. Again, really sticking with the Moroccan theme, because obviously this is from a mosque, but still looks really nice. And then the cyan, yes, the cyan concrete in the background, just to bring in some similar colors. Really, really like that. And here is something that I worked on. It's kind of, again, a Moroccan well. I'm very, very proud of what this looked like. In fact, if you look up, I believe, Moroccan mosque, or even just mosque in Google Images, you can find this picture. I might actually show up what two pictures these were inspired by, and you can kind of see the vibe that we've gone for. So we've got obviously sandstone, sticking with the Moroccan theme. So this is obviously some good tiles I really love. This is my favorite texture out of all of them. And this is some Moroccan tiles in front of a well. Could make the well smaller. There'd be no harm in that. So we could go for something like this. Yep, just ruin it. That's fine. No. Like that. So something like that would work fine. That wouldn't be too bad. And then we brought in the birch wood, this arch, and then the kind of arch around it in that kind of traditional Moroccan shape. So I've put these blocks behind it. I believe these are the orange. Yes, the orange glazed terracotta. It doesn't quite match, but we found that you put the birch kind of, what are they called? Fences in front of it, and it really kind of ties everything together, dulls down the intense colors a little bit, and brings it all together. So again, this is tying in a few ideas that I found when I was looking up Moroccan stuff. One tip actually that I can give you is when you're placing these blocks, if you're going for a repeating pattern, so for example, this is the kind of top left corner of this circle, so top left corner there. What we found, if you're going for a repeating pattern, just go through and place it wherever you will need it. Okay, so like this. And then if we face this way, we'll find that this is the other side of this. So we can come through and place that all the way up there. You get that. And then, so this one is the bottom. So you can come through like this. And obviously this is easier to do in creative than in survival, but it's a quick and easy way to put together your patterns. So you're not kind of going, okay, so it's like that. No, okay, so we'll go that way. Oh, that's not right. Oh, but that looks quite cool, actually. Look at that. That's not bad. That's kind of a cool thing. So it must be this way. Yep, that's right. Yep, and then we go this way. Yep, and then we get that circle, and so this way's that way. No, it must be this way. It's this way. Yeah, so we get that circle that way, which is how I was doing it until we kind of got to the idea of just putting down all the shapes in a repeating pattern that you need. Now, this was, again, inspired by Reddit. Someone had developed a bit of a design for their enchanting table. So this is obviously the new wool colors around. Why do you have to rain on me? The new wool colors around. We just placed a little bit of a pattern around the... I like the red. It's got kind of a mystical feel about it anyway. It looks like the puffs of smoke from Zelda Wind Waker. And it kind of suits it. There's a lot of red going on in here. The red books, the red of the enchanting table. And I like how it all goes together. And then there's a few little things. We put this little pattern in here just to show that it doesn't always have to go in this kind of 4x4 shape, or, you know, you don't have to have the repeating pattern. Which doesn't look too bad. I quite like it with some red wool down the center as well, because the new red wool is a really nice color. There you go. So you can kind of have, you know, your path leading up to your enchanting table. That it ass. Almost finished. The next one we have here is just probably what I think is the most obvious use for the concrete blocks. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a good modern builder. I can't do these kind of modern sugar cubes. But I just threw this together using the white and the light grey concrete. Kind of partly from an image off Google, but just played around with it a little bit. Wanted to show how the pillar quartz looks here. If you wanted to go for, you know, a roller door for the garage door. And then some of the black concrete down here just to look like asphalt. But I reckon if you were going to do that, you'd have a paved driveway. Very nice. You get very clean lines here. Much more clean than you would from, I think, quartz. Let's have a look. We'll go the block of quartz. Or even snow, because snow has that kind of bluish tinge to it. So if we put something together similarly like quartz. So obviously quartz has the lines, and then snow as well. So very, very nice, or it's going to be very nice for the for your modern builds. And the only other option I think for white is wool, and obviously wool has that texture in there as well. So this is going to be really good for all your modern builders. So if you're out there, Corrales, now's the time to come back to Minecraft, dude. We miss you. And the final thing that we have here is just a couple of little pathways. So this was an extension of the path that we designed in the last video that we did on Minecraft 1.12. Just some different ideas around using these as kind of detail blocks on paths. So again, this kind of some sorceress is building, or, you know, if it's the fight up to Magus in Chrono Trigger, that's still what it gives me the feeling of. Just with some borders of the grey concrete and just the purple wool here, just to break up this pattern a little bit, because it's a little bit... the one thing I think is going to be difficult to use with this concrete is the fact that it's so textureless. It's going to be really difficult to not just make it look like, you know, it doesn't quite belong there. Here is K-Bug's attempt at a kind of creepy hallway. So if it was some kind of horrible villain's lair. So we're using the black concrete, which is very black. Netherwart blocks, first use I've ever had of netherwart block. The black glazed terracotta, the grey concrete, the grey wool, and then finally just some red glass and lava in the background. And the magma blocks up the top. So it's a nice kind of creepy hallway if you're going for that kind of, I guess, an evil sorcerer. Or sorceress. This would be exactly what you're looking for. And then finally this one, which I have no idea what I was thinking. I just started putting stuff down. So it's the green glazed terracotta. I originally had it all in one big block and it just looked Moroccan. I can't get away from it looking Moroccan. But I've broken it up with some of the green concrete powder. So it kind of looks like just greener grass, or paler grass, I guess, running down the inside. So I started to get this feeling of nature. So what I thought would be cool is if we had trees kind of over the top of it, it was the path into an elven city or like an elven temple or something. All of these give me a temple feel, so that's the kind of vibe we went for. So I grew a couple of trees and then just built like a weird log wall on either side of them. So the idea of this video is to give you a bit of an idea of how we can actually use these terracotta blocks when we're building, and also how you can use some of the new sand and concrete blocks in any of your builds. It's going to take some time for me to not just think Moroccan whenever I see the terracotta blocks. But you know what? If all they're good for is making really intricate builds and temples and Moroccan things, I think that would be really awesome anyway, because this has given me a hell of a lot of inspiration. These two buildings have given me a hell of a lot of inspiration of what I might want to do next. So very, very cool. So let me know if any of this has inspired you in any way, or if you have any thoughts about how you're going to use these blocks yourself. I would love to know about it. And if you have any thoughts about how to use some of these pattern blocks, these terracotta blocks, outside of this kind of context, I would love to know about that as well. But that's going to do it for today. So thanks very much for watching, guys. If you like it, can you chuck a like on it? Because it actually, I know a lot of YouTubers say it, but it does really help a lot. And subscribe if you want to see more buildy content in the future. Thanks very much. See you later.